Hi everyone, my name is Kristen Baxter and I teach art and mindfulness for Shanti Project, and I go out into elementary schools and high schools and do some mindfulness and art making with kids from grades kindergarten through high school. So today I wanted to show you how to make this paper bag book. It's simple materials that I thought could be fun while you're home with your family. I'll untie it so you can see. So I call it my mindfulness and art journal. And it's simply made out of brown paper lunch bags. And I'm going to show you how to make this today. So first, before we start that, I wanted to show you some art supplies that I have. I kind of am showing you maybe more than what you have, but it could just give you some ideas. So for instance, over here, I have a box where I just save random scraps of papers. I have tissue papers. I have things that I've printed off the internet. There's also like decorated papers from past projects. Old maps are great. And even tissue paper from like wrapping. Also gather your favorite stickers. I also have what's called washi tape. You might not be familiar with washi tape. It's simply a type of masking tape that is decorated, and it's super easy to cut and use. So it's kind of like the best of stickers and masking tape all in one. So I'll just stop doing that. I've also got some crayons, colored pencils, markers, and then my special bag of my favorite pens, if you're wondering. Precise V5 pens. I love these. I also have some watercolors. You might have a more traditional like Crayola pan watercolors. I just have this set with more colors with a rag, some scissors, hole puncher, some scrap paper, and then of course some paper lunch bags. So I'll show you how I made my paper bag book. Super easy and fun if you're stuck in the house these days. So to start, I just start off with 3 paper bags. I find that if you do too many, it starts to kind of be really bulky and it doesn't lay flat. So I start with 3 and I alternate them. So you can see the bottom of the lunch bag is on this side, and then I stack it and it's on that side and this side. And you simply fold it in half. And you've got the beginnings of your book. And what I find that's really been fun about this the past week of being at home and working on this is that it's such simple materials that you can keep working on it. You can start it today, pick it up later tonight, maybe do a little bit tomorrow, and you can just keep adding to it. So to bind the book then, you can see in my example, it's just simply taking a rubber band and just putting it around the pages of your book. But you want to wait to do that till you're finished with your book. It's kind of hard to like work on the pages when it's all folded. I just wanted to show you how it's assembled, because you also might want to plan what you want on the cover and how you want the pages to look. But then when you're actually working on it, I would like take it apart and then start working on it. So for the first page here, just to give you some ideas, because you can really be as creative as you'd like, I actually drew directly on the paper bag and ended up not liking what I drew. So I just glued construction paper over it. So that's a really nice reminder that you don't have to like start all over again. You can just glue stuff on top. So you can give your book a title. I use some washi tape down the sides. And then in thinking about the theme of mindfulness and art making, I thought each page could have some kind of connection to mindfulness. So this page, I call it Signs of Spring. So the past few days, not so much today, but the past few days have actually been really bright and sunny out. So just going outside and listening and looking and smelling and really seeing what reminds you of spring. What's fun about paper bag books is that you automatically have these little surprise openings. So I pasted some spring type motifs there and used some spring-like washi tape. I love making mandalas. I know they're a bit cliche, but they're super fun. And you know, it took me 180 years to figure out how to do them. This might be super obvious to you, but I'm just going to show you something that I didn't know until someone showed me. So I always thought you started making a big circle and then filling it in. But to make the mandala that you see here, you just start in the center. So it might be a circle, it doesn't have to be. And then you just start adding to it. You just start adding shapes on that circle. And then maybe do another circle. And maybe you'll add some shapes inside that circle. And you just keep building it outward. So again, I always thought you started on the outside and worked in, and mine always kind of looked wonky. So try that. And mandalas are really fun to make and a nice connection to mindfulness because you don't really have to think all that much. You can just look at the lines and shapes and look at the favorite pens that you have and just kind of get in the zone. So the other fun thing about paper bags is that they not only do they have these fun little openings, but they have the little bag parts too. So you can put little messages to yourself. Again, it's a super stressful, uncertain time. So maybe just nice little messages you have for yourself, for your family. Maybe mindfulness activities like breathing in and just thinking about what really makes you happy. Maybe it's crafting like this. So you can fill your bag with messages. I like to have them sticking out because it invites the reader to take them out. You could bake cookies, right? That's a super mindfulness project, plus it's super yummy. But you use your book to record what you've been up to in this time when we're all at home. This is just a design that I found on Pinterest. Again, super easy, easy design to do. Just get any straight edge. You could use your stickers, and all you do is start drawing lines from one side of the paper bag book to the other. I started with that circle in the middle. You could start with your mandala. Just add as many lines as you'd like. If you're with your kids trying to teach them things too, you could use a ruler and have your kids measure how long their lines are. So just keep going, as many as you'd like. And then I just used my watercolors. Honestly, I don't even know what brand these are, and I was looking on the back. There's nothing on the back, but I bought them on Amazon. Not that that helps, but I like these because they're a little bit more opaque than some other watercolors are. And remember, if we're doing art and mindfulness, you know, the goal isn't to like finish. The goal is to notice, like if I don't use a lot of water on my brush, the color gets really saturated. If I use a lot of water and I use a light color, let's try that. So a lot of water with yellow, right? It's going to be very transparent. Maybe I'll even mix them. So in thinking about mindfulness in art, you know, don't feel like the goal is to like finish this design. I think the goal is to make mistakes and you know, see what the watercolors can do, for instance. So that's another page then. Some other ideas. One way to become mindful is, and to feel grounded, is to notice each of your 5 senses. So I did this page, this spread, I should call it. Use your 5 senses and go on a treasure hunt. And also, again, remember that little flap, you could put little secret pictures in there. So you can work with your kids, you know, what are your 5 senses, and draw pictures of those. And then, again, I have a little hidden surprises in here. So each of your 5 senses, things that we can see. I have cats and a dog, lots of art supplies. So things I could see. I went into my laundry room. That's one of my dryer sheets. It smells so good. Something I've been listening to lately, NPR, reliable source of information. Taste, everybody needs chocolate. And then finally, touch. I have a whole bag of fabrics, so I thought that kind of had a nice texture. So you could go around with your kids and look for things that represent each of your 5 senses. You could draw your breath. It's another fun activity. I do this with my kids in elementary school. So you start in the center and deeply inhale. And then when you get to the center, exhale. And that's kind of a fun little activity. You could even literally draw what you think your breath looks like too. Another page, I thought telling jokes is just, could be a fun thing when you're, again, when we're all at home. Maybe write down your family's favorite jokes that they have. I went online and found these. Why did the pony get sent to his room? He wouldn't stop horsing around. My personal favorite. What did the fisherman say to the magician? I just like that it rhymes too. Fisherman, magician. Pick a cod, any cod. Why did the teddy bear say no to dessert? Because he was stuffed. How do we know the ocean is friendly? It waves. Super fun little page in your book. This is another bizarre drawing, I know, but it could be fun with a family. So you give your page to one of your family members and you tell them, just draw X number of dots. I did this one on March 21st, so there are 21 dots on this page. And I asked my daughter, I drew the dots, the 21 dots all over the page, and then I asked my daughter, okay, now connect them all in one line so that it looks like a creature. And this is the horrible thing that she came up with. But it could be really fun. So you could pick the number of dots according to how old you are or how old your kids are. And it forces you to use some mindful seeing, right? Where you have to try to see some kind of form within all of those dots. And then finally, this last page here, I just said another fun thing is to bake muffins. And I've cut out the muffin box, put it in here. And then on the back, I just played around with some different techniques with crayons, and I want to just point out one last thing. This is a book called Art and Creative Development for Young Children. I love this book, and I use it in my own classes that I teach. And there's a chapter in it all about crayons, and on the bottom here on the corner, you can see there's a list of variations for using crayons. So for instance, try scribbling with a crayon in each hand. Marking with a crayon in the non-dominant hand. For example, a righty uses crayons with the left hand. Using 2 or more crayons tied together with a rubber band. Making notches or grooves in a peeled crayon and using it sideways, swirling or up and down. Mixing colors and blending or overlaying crayons on white paper. I actually like using the crayons on the brown paper. It has a different kind of feel to it. But try it on construction paper. Vary the pressure. I never tried this. It says polish the crayons with a tissue, and it actually really works. I don't know if you can see in the video, but after you color, you polish it with a tissue and it gets shiny. Super cool. Use all sides of the crayon, the point, the flat end, make circles. And then finally, using only dots made with a crayon to form a picture, outline, or design. So you can, try out some of those crayon mark making activities. And then when you're done, I just use my hole puncher, and I punched a hole in the front there and in the back, kind of the back part of it. And there's not really a right or wrong way to do this, but if I love having books that are tied shut, you could also just wrap the ribbon around and not make holes in it if you don't want to. I like how the holes just make it seem kind of special. So you can just tie it all up. And like I mentioned at the beginning, you don't have to finish this in one go. Work on it a little bit today, and then over the next weeks when we're home, maybe add a design on a page or 2. And you can always keep adding the paper bags to your stack. And again, when you're done, all you do is take a rubber band and you just find the middle of your book. Right, I have it all stacked the way I want. And then put the rubber band around it. That'll just hold it together, right? And there you go. So I hope you liked my very first craft making video, and I hope your whole family is safe and healthy. Bye.